Today we're going to be talking about fueling for crag days. I've noticed that a lot of athletes take one Cliff Bar or maybe one Nalgene of water, but with proper planning, we'll be able to fuel for performance climbing and fuel for recovering after a day at the crag. When we're planning for a day at the crag, we always remember our bag with our shoes and our rope and our draws and our harness, or maybe bouldering pads, or we remember to text our partner to see what time we're actually going to meet at the parking lot. But are we really planning what food we're going to bring along? One of the first things that we need to do when we start to think about fueling for a day at the crag is what kind of day are we looking at? Are we working on a red point pyramid? Are we gonna run laps and do high volume? Or are we gonna give X amount of goes on our project? Another thing that we wanna consider is the weather. Is it gonna be hot? Is it humid? Is it dry? Are you going to be at a high elevation? All of those things matter for planning on your fueling. Another thing that we need to consider is how long is the hike in? If you're going to be out for an entire day, we want to make sure that we're bringing, of course, lots of snacks, but maybe even considering throwing a well-balanced meal into your day. So if you're going to be out there for lunch, maybe you want a sandwich or a salad out with you, something that's going to give you a well balance of carbs, protein, and fat. When we're considering snacks, we want to think about having one snack per hour that we plan to be at the cliff. So if you're out there for 4 hours, we need 4 snacks. If you're out there for 8 hours, consider taking 8 snacks. Our snacks need to be quick energy, so high carbohydrates. You can think about things like gummies, dried fruit, crackers. It's really whatever you like and you will be willing to actually eat when you're there. We don't want to get to the cliff and you look at your snack bag and you say, I don't want any of this. We want to make sure that you're actually going to eat what you bring up with you. Along with finding snacks that you actually enjoy eating at the crag, we also want to find out what snacks fuel us better. Sometimes we may like a snack, but when you actually take it to the crag, you find that it might slow you down or it fills you up too much and you're not feeling well on the route. All of this is just an experiment to find out what's going to fuel you best and what's going to keep you ready to perform. Hydration is another element of planning for your nutrition at the crag. We need to be drinking 1 to 2 cups of water per hour at the cliff. To give you a frame of reference, there are 4 cups of water and 1 Nalgene. I like to take things like Hydro Packs or a bladder or something that's collapsible because I can fit a lot more water in those and it doesn't take as much room in my pack in the long run. As far as hydration before we go out climbing, we're looking for 1 to 2, but probably more like 2 to 3 cups of water before we even get to the crag. Also, if you're climbing at a high altitude, if it's hot or humid, you may also want to consider adding a sports drink to the mix. So you could drink 1 to 2 cups of water, and then I would drink 1 cup of the sports drink per hour as well. One other thing to consider is that when we're climbing in cold temperatures, we're very uninterested in drinking our cold water that we bring. So I want to encourage you to either bring a nice hot bottle of water or even tea to the crag because that's going to count for our overall fluid intake as well. While it's really important to think about what we need to take along with us to the crag, we also need to be thinking about how we're going to fuel before we get there and then on our way home. So thinking about meals like breakfast in the morning, if you're going to be going out for the whole day, we want to get a good mix of carbs, protein, and fat. It could look something like eggs with avocado toast or maybe protein-packed pancakes. What we want to make sure is that we are fueled for the hike in so that we don't get to the cliff and immediately need our first snack. We're also looking to eat our breakfast or our cliff meal 1 to 2 hours before we actually even get there. When we think about fueling for our post-climbing day, we want to think about getting a nice carb and protein mix for recovery. You could start that right away on your hike out with maybe a protein bar. Or what I like to do is I like to leave a protein shake in the car waiting on me when I get down there to make sure that I actually eat something on the way home. But we want to think about eating 60 to 90 minutes after we're done climbing. If you can wait until you get home to have a meal in that time frame, that's great. But if you've got quite a ways to drive, I would prepare a snack in the car on the way home. It can be really easy to underfuel at the crag, and not even on purpose. A lot of us just get in the zone of climbing or jump to belaying our friend. So if you find it hard to eat a snack per hour, maybe you eat a snack or take a bite after every pitch, or after every pitch you have a cup of water or even just a sip of water. Something that can help you remember to create that habit while you're climbing. I want to stress that this doesn't need to be complicated, but if we're able to take just a little bit more time and plan out our nutrition for a day at the cliff, we're gonna have more energy to climb, we're going to recover faster, we're going to help prevent injury, we're gonna have a better overall mood and cognition, and it's also going to help in our long-term health as well.